Good morning, everybody. I can't tell you what a thrill it is to share this platform with my mentors and all of you. We are from Gauteng, and I have to say as well, are rather envious of the huge amount of momentum that the first 1,000 days has generated here, and I hope that we Gautengers can take some of the steam with us upland. So it's my privilege to introduce our organization. We are the Ububele Educational and Psychotherapy Trust, and in particular, with reference to the first 1,000 days, it's my privilege to introduce you to our Ububele Umdlezane Parent-Infant Project, where we are presenting 3 innovative infant mental health interventions to you this morning. I really don't feel like I'm going to use my precious minutes to go over infant mental health when there we have a very important slide that you can look at for a minute, but it really is repeating what Niels has said, what Astrid has said this morning, what Simon has said. Just to reiterate, children who fall victim to insecure attachment relationships are 6 times more likely to develop psychological problems. And there's the link again intergenerationally. This has a mutating effect and gets passed on from generation to generation. Okay, Ububele, where do we come from? We were established 16, 17 years ago outside Alexandra. We're a training and service NGO. You'll see the picture to the right is so definitive of our South African landscape, where the richest square kilometer is 5 kilometers, 5,000 meters away from really one of the poorest square kilometers in the country. We're a mental health organization which aims to develop and train professional and lay people in preventative mental health interventions and programs that are specifically developed for the South African context, and we focus on the first years of life from pregnancy to preschool. We draw on indigenous knowledge systems, attachment, psychodynamic, and developmental theories. This is too complicated really to try and explain, but the first 1,000 days, the parent-infant program is part of some of our other clinical interventions and trainings, and we are endeavoring this year to really focus on research so that we can contribute to a body of knowledge that talks about specific local experience within this country to challenge some of the weird publications that dominate so much of the landscape, weird as in Western, educated, industrialized, rich and democratic. Yes, I agree. I think they are rather weird. Okay. The first project I'm going to introduce you to is our Ububele Baby Mat project, and what a privilege to follow the Elifa presentation with the importance of the mat. This is something that we too have focused on. For anyone that is interested in the bits and pieces that I talk about, you please do yourselves a favor and join us this afternoon for the 1-hour workshop. We've got really interesting video material. I'm not going to do justice to it now, so that's my punt. Take it or leave it. Take it, rather. Our Baby Mat project, if you spend a minute to just have a look at the image, this is very important to hold on to as you try and imagine what the service is. We are based at primary healthcare clinics. 2 Baby Mat practitioners with mental health training sit on the floor and make ourselves available to families, particularly mothers with their infants, to talk about any concerns that they may have, any difficulties they may have. This links somewhat onto Simon's presentation, the high levels of postnatal depression at this time, the high levels of domestic difficulties, domestic abuse within homes. We make our services available to moms where they find themselves waiting in the first place. And we strategically make use of a culturally and linguistically diverse couple so as to be able to accommodate the language and cultural understandings of the presenting dyad. In total, these stats are actually a little bit outdated now. We've got another 6 months, but we've seen about 3,500, probably approaching 4,000 dyads since its inception in 2007. And we've begun to generate a little bit of data on this. We've trained 49 Baby Mat practitioners. We are currently offering services at 7 clinics. We've done 1 post-intervention follow-up, 5 master's dissertations, and here's a little bit of data. I'm going to fly through this. 93% of our sample experienced the Baby Mat as helpful. 80% of the sample had a definite change in their thinking with regard to the presenting problem they sat on the mat with in the first place. And 73% of our sample said they no longer felt worried about their presenting concern. Right. The next innovative intervention. Our newborn behavioural observation. This is a newer project that we've implemented into our organisation. If you take a minute to have a look at that image, that is Florence Ramoshaba, one of our home visitors, facilitating a newborn behavioural observation in the home of a mom on our home visiting project. And within the ENBO, what she really does is highlight the relational capacities of her neonate. So how responsive her newborn baby is, how she can follow her voice, how she can adjust how much stimulation she can manage. And she does all of this very carefully with the caregiver to really highlight how baby is a subject, is a person with her own strong relational capacities right from the very beginning. The reason why we do that is not just to teach, but actually to support something of a relationship, to really encourage what our esteemed colleagues have said this morning about supporting those protective factors. What are the protective factors? Strong relationships, strong support. And just to fly through some of our results, some of our impact data on our newborn behavioural observation, you'll see that the parents' confidence and trust in the NBO practitioner is substantial. This is translated into, I'm going to fly through that quickly, this is translated into taking up referrals. So if our home visitor identifies that mom is having a difficulty, that she's particularly anxious or depressed or concerned about her partner, and makes a referral, we're seeing that on the basis of this first relationship with a helpful home visitor, those referrals are being taken up. Then our Ububele home visiting project. Thank you. This is another one of our preventative infant mental health interventions. If you cast your eyes to the image, that is Zanele Velikazi with her umbrella, the rain. We're getting rain. I know you aren't getting rain. We are getting rain in Gauteng, and we're most grateful, but our home visitors consequently have to walk with their umbrellas. Our home visiting project has been uniquely designed for the Alexandra context. It is relatively low cost. We make careful cultural and language considerations, and we make use of lay women as home visitors through careful selection, thorough training, and reflective supervision. Our home visiting project focuses on the perinatal period and starts antenatally and goes for 10 visits after baby's been born. However, if we identify mom and baby as still being at risk, we can and do extend the duration of the visits. We have done a small randomized control study on our home visiting project and have seen effect of the intervention on parents' perceived level of support, knowledge regarding infants' relational needs, and reflective functioning. What have we learned? The Ububele best practice for infant mental health that we share with you today is really careful selection of practitioners, manualized experiential training. We're guided by attachment theory and this research that has really been so transformative in the last 20 years, and reflective supervision. We start in the perinatal period. We offer a basket of services. So at-risk mums and babies have more likelihood of being identified and picked up through one of our services. We provide access to those services. So we're reaching out to mums and babies and families and fathers and caregivers where they are already waiting or at home. And we provide reflective practice and reflective supervision. In all aspects of our work, we've adapted our theory to our setting. We train and identify and source mental health counselors from the context. And we try to be as respectful of culturally diverse ways of parenting as we can. Parenting can only be seen as parenting in its context. Thank you very much.
Thank Thank you so much. Great to see some of the science being applied again. As we've heard these presentations, I was just thinking about how much opportunity there is for learning across programs, thinking about similarities, the importance of choosing the right kinds of practitioners and home visitors, the importance of getting early, the importance of connecting, really hoping that people in the room can connect with one another to share their experiences, maybe over tea or lunch.